Hi, this is Cass from Aussie Cass Plays and welcome to, I think, part 31 of my Criminal Empire Challenge. I feel like I say I think at the start of every video I ever record. We are joining Carissa. This is her house. We haven't been here a lot. This is the house she's been living in since she went to Brightchester. She hasn't actually moved, so I downloaded it from the gallery. It's built to look like these ones. However, the reason we're joining Carissa, I actually thought she would still be pregnant. Obviously more time has passed than I thought, and I did that thing I always forget to do of pausing the pregnancy when I'm not playing the sim. And she's had her baby. I had planned for this conversation to happen while she was pregnant. However, it's happening now. She's waited this long to contact Bruce. So there you go. She's invited him over. It is Love Day. She's like, hey, remember that time we spent together? It'd sure be nice to do it again. And he, being the sucker that he is for a blonde with a very stellar, highly produced figure, basically was like, sure. Now, she has asked him to come over and she's basically out in the street and she's like, I've been trying to reach out to you for ages. You know, you haven't contacted me. You haven't... I've been sending you messages and I've been getting, Alfred's been answering the phone, like, what's the go? And he's like, well, you know, what we had was a bit of fun, but I didn't think that there was anything serious there. I thought that we both understood that. And she's like, oh, honey, it's more serious than you think. Now, he's good and she's evil, so they're going to get on like a house on fire. And he's like, well, what do you mean? And she's like, look, why don't you come inside? I've got something I would like to show you. He's like, sure. And he's thinking maybe some skimpy lingerie or something. She's bringing him in here to meet their daughter. He obviously is going to be very shocked by this because he didn't know he had a daughter. And he's like, what the hell? And she's like, yeah, remember that night that we spent together? Well, we had a baby. And he's like, are you kidding me? Bruce has obviously gone downstairs to like take a moment to think. So I'm going to get them to sit here. And she's like, look, she's your daughter. And he's like, how do I know that's true? And she's saying to him, if you want to request a paternity test, that's fine. But I want to know what you're going to do about it. And he's saying, well, what do you mean? Like, you haven't involved me until now. You didn't even tell me you were pregnant. She's like, well, of course I didn't tell you I was pregnant because I've heard about you. You've got a reputation. You like to insist that girls have abortions. And I believe abortion is murder, Bruce. And how dare? And he's like, I have never insisted a girl had an abortion. Where did you even hear that? And she's like, look, I have my sources. So he's denying that. Obviously, he's going to be very offended by that suggestion. It's like, well, I've never done that. Are you kidding me? I don't usually even have unprotected sex, and you told me you were on the pill. And she's like, I was. I guess, you know, you're just so, like, fertile. And your swimmers defeated my birth control. And he's horrified by that. And she's like, look, what are you going to do about it? You have a daughter. He's like, well, what are you asking from me? Are you asking me to, like, marry you? Are you asking to move in? And she's like, well, that would be one option. You know, I'm sure we could make it work, us crazy kids. You know, we're clearly compatible, Bruce. You remember how I made you feel. And he's like, well, yeah, but that's not what a relationship is built on. You know, there's more to it than that. Argue about morals, yes. Yeah, they're basically having a big blow up about it. And she's saying to him, you've got two choices. We'll get the paternity test, that's fine. But you have two choices. One is you support me and your daughter and we live with you. The other is you support me and your daughter and we don't live with you. Either way, the support part's not optional. She is your child. He's like, well, how do you know that? She's like, baby, I haven't been with anyone else. You're the only man for me. And obviously he's very skeptical about that. Now, I don't think they've gotten a sentiment yet. I was kind of waiting to see if that would happen. If they get a negative sentiment, like if he gets a negative sentiment to her, he agrees to support her financially, but she won't move in. And if they don't get a negative sentiment, then she can convince him that she should move in with her daughter. Now, the reason I keep saying their daughter is said child does have a name, but it's been assigned by the game. So her name, I believe it was Veronica. Yeah, Veronica Bailey. Where do you think you're going? He's like, I have to go now. And she's like, you can't just walk out on me. As far as the name goes, I'm not wedded to keeping the name Veronica, but I can't rename her now. Like I said, I thought they'd be having this argument. I was planning on waiting till she was in her 3rd trimester, because by that point, she'd say, well, I've waited this long again, so you couldn't insist I have an abortion, because obviously late-term abortion, not a thing, unless there's a medical reason. If you have any suggestions for baby names, I did think it would be funny to name it after Bruce's mum, which is Martha, because I feel like that would be even more manipulative on her part. If you think that's a good idea, let me know. The other option would be Makayla is Carissa's mum, who she adored and then murdered. And we could go for like Mickey or, you know, something like that maybe. She's gone outside, taken a breath of cool air, and is now going to try and make up to him. Thing is, their romance was never actually that. Makayla, go away. Their romance was actually never that high in the first place because it was a hookup that got her pregnant. She's going to try and make up to him and be like, well, we could be really good together. Anyway, so that's going well, I think, given the lack of a negative sentiment. Let me know what you guys think, but I'm actually thinking that I will have him agree that they can move in. Maybe not get married yet, because I feel like, I mean, obviously their romance isn't at that point, but she, Makayla. Sorry, Makayla, I love you. You're my favourite celebrity gold digger. You're the best. However, your daughter doesn't want you around. I mean, he looks happy now. Maybe he's thinking about what it would mean to him to have a child and an heir, because obviously he's not been one that's settled down before with a kid or anything. And even if he feels like Carissa's attempting to scam him, he could always get her to sign like a prenuptial agreement if they were to get married, or some kind of contract. Celebrate Carissa's birthday. Oh. So she's going to convince him that it could be good for him to have her around. Now, the thing that's particularly interesting about this, which Carissa doesn't know, is this is exactly how Makayla seduced Thorne. Not the pregnancy part, but the, you know, oh, your wife is so stodgy and, you know, I could be so much better for you, blah, blah, blah. In the case of Bruce, it's more, you don't have to be celibate. You don't have to be alone. I could make you so happy. Now, I won't move her in this part, but I think I will after I've recorded this part, because he clearly seems happy at the idea of having a nubile blonde on hand. Again, a lot like Thorne was. So we'll leave these guys here with their little moment of bliss. See, it's actually not good for Carissa to live with Bruce, because he is a good sim and she is an evil sim. He's going to make her mad a lot. So it would be quite an interesting family dynamic, that's for sure. It was Lady Sweetheart in the comments actually gave me this idea that, because Carissa's independently wealthy, if you look, she's got 1.3 million simoleons. Most of that's her mother's money. In fact, almost all of that's her mother's money. Like, she's got a job. She's, let's see, level 6 in the stylist career. So she's doing all right financially from her job, but she's sitting on this huge pile of money that she actually can't do anything with. Yeah, she's sitting on this huge pile of money that if she did anything with it, her siblings would notice and want to know where she got it from. So by getting pregnant to Bruce, even if he didn't take her in, she could claim that the money was from him. So I was like, that's a genius idea, and why didn't I think of that myself? I will catch up with you guys. We've got another household to visit, and then we're going to go back to Alex and Ashley's house. All right, you guys, we haven't seen this room before. Dude, I just locked that door. Ratchet's just like, no, let me in. This is the room that Cassidy shares with Madison in the Bears clubhouse. So Cassidy has decided it's time to sound out her sister on the whole, what did she think of leaving the Bears? So she's like doing their secret handshake, and they're kind of, you know, hey sis, how you been? Oh, I've been good, how are you? You know, haven't seen you around much, Cassidy. Yeah, I know, I've been, you know, busy doing stuff. And she's like, yeah, I hear you've been going to the gym a lot with Lex. She's like, yeah. You know how it is, it's hard to say no to Lex. And Madison's like, yeah, boy do I know. Basically, I wanted to check in with her and be like, you know, are you happy, Madison? And Madison's like, well, sure, I mean, I guess, like, it is what it is. And she's like, but really though, like if you could leave, would you? And Madison's like, keep your voice down. The guys are just outside the door. I mean, like, not literally, but, you know, Shark could hear you. And she's like, yeah, I know. That's why I wanted to talk to you in here. But if you could leave the bears, would you leave the bears? Madison's like, well, what's that expression? If wishes were horses, we'd all be eating steak. You know, that one? And Cassidy's like, Madison, that's gross. Madison's asking Cassidy, look, what's all this about? And Cassidy's like, well, I've just been thinking about whether, you know, I mean, look at us. We're living in this, like, rundown room, this graffiti-covered kind of room. And you know, it's bad here. Like, bad things keep happening, you know, the whole power situation getting shut off, and Lex has come home covered in bruises twice now from run-ins with the Fixers. Madison's like, yeah, the Fixers are thugs, at which point Cassidy's like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have mentioned that part. I mean, we go after them, they go after us. That's how this situation works. I don't really like Shark. Well, neither do I. Why do we stick around? We like Lex. I mean, we both like Lex, but ultimately Lex is married to Shark. So if we don't like Shark, we should get away from both of them. Madison's like, are you seriously suggesting we, like, up and leave? You know he won't let us do that. She's like, what if I had a way? Madison's like, well, what kind of way? What have you been into, Cassidy? Is that where you've been lately? And Cassidy's like, well, yeah, it is. I'm going to express being courageous. I'm going to be like, look, if we're going to break free of this life, we need to be brave. And maybe you would say that I have been stupid. In fact, you probably would say I've been stupid. And now Madison's like, well, I'm going to switch control to her. She's like, what are you talking about? What have you been into? What are you saying? Just spit it out. Cassidy is like, I know someone who knows people in the Fixers. Madison's like, look, you don't know what you're getting into dealing with the Fixers. I mean, those guys are scumbags. Oh, she hurt her feelings. She got a negative sentiment. Oh, she feels hurt. That happened fast. It's funny, I have Carissa argue with Bruce for like 10 minutes and nothing happens. And in this instance, it's like instant. Madison's like, look, I'm sorry, okay? I didn't mean to imply you were stupid, but you're very young and the Fixers are dangerous. And she's like, look, I don't think they're any more dangerous than Shark. In fact, I think they may be less dangerous than Shark. And I think maybe we can reason with them and get something out of them. You know, we can get the resources out of them to get away. And Madison's like, well, why would they help us? So Cassidy's response to that is, well, there's something in it for them, because if we both leave, we weaken the bears. And if we help them on the way out by doing something to hurt the bears, of course they will. Like, we'll be like their inside girls, you know what I mean? Until they get us out. And I genuinely think that they would. Madison's like, okay, look, who are these people that you know that know the bears? Like, are we talking someone who sold them something one time? You know, it's time to fess up. I want to talk up Jason, but I don't think it's going to let me. So I guess I'll just tell a dramatic story and a funny story and an engaging story. So she's basically like, look, I met a guy. And Madison's like, oh God, here we go. No, but he's such a sweetheart. He's really kind. He's funny. He's generous. He's super creative. Like, his talent is just, you would not believe it if you saw it. Like, I can't. And he likes me. He really likes me. Madison's like, are you sure, Cassidy? He might just be using you to get to the bears. And Cassidy's like, no, I swear. He really likes me, and he really wants to help me get out of this situation. So Madison's like, who is it? And Cassidy's like, you can't tell anyone. Promise. So Madison's promising, and Cassidy's saying it's Jason. He's the oldest son of Alex Jong, who is the leader of the Fixers. And Madison's like, I know who Alex is. Like, he's been here before. I don't think he saw me, but I saw him. And I saw his thug sister. And I've seen what they've done to Lex. Cassidy's obviously not happy about that. She's like, look, you can't judge Jason by what his sibling, like what his dad and his aunt do. But the thing is, he's genuinely wanting to help me out. And I just think you need to give it a chance. Madison's like, well, why should I trust him? Give me one good reason why I should trust this man, like this young man that you clearly have the hots for, you know, just because he gives you hot, steamy feelings. Why should I trust him? Cassidy's like, you don't have to trust him, but you should trust me. And you should trust my ability to tell whether he's trustworthy. And Madison, I love him. And I want to get out of this. And I want you to come with me so I know you're safe. Madison's basically saying, look, I will have to think about it. Okay, you're asking for something really big from me. You're asking me to betray Lex, who is my friend. You're asking me to betray Devon and Soren. And yeah, okay, I don't care so much about betraying Shark. But the others, like... I'm friends with Lex, you know, she's a good mate. And if I betray Shark, I'm betraying her. So you're asking a lot of me. I'm sure you appreciate that. And Cassidy's like, yeah, I guess. So that's where this situation is at. So I'm going to release these two into the wild. Alrighty, well, I'm going to leave this household here and I'm actually going to go back to our main household now. Alright, you guys, we are back in the Zhong household. And as you'll see, Ashley is on a major cake baking spree because all of the girls deserve their own cake. They're out here having a party. What? You heard it was someone's birthday today, so you've showed up with a gift. Dude, I'm very confused about why you're here. To be fair, Cassidy is here, or at least I think she is. I know we invited her, but why on the earth would Bruce show up? So I guess I'll have Alex go and invite him in because from my point of view, Alex is going to want to put the strong word on Bruce to be like, are you going to look after my sister? Since you're here, admire my muscles, be in fear of me. What are your intentions towards my sister? And Bruce is like, I'm a good person. I want to do right by her. So I'm going to say, let's ask about Carissa. We'll see what he says. It'd be interesting, actually. They do have a little bit of romance, so might be, and I really like her. Let's see. You know, oh, I'm so in love with Carissa. Alex is like, oh, God, she got you good, didn't she? But he's not going to say that out loud. So he's going to be like, well, good. Anyway, I've got everyone coming in here because we're going to age up all three girls. So we're going to do... Who's the oldest? I think Addison's actually the oldest. So I'm going to get her to blow out her candles. Now, I think I can use this to age up other Sims. I should probably not do them all at once, though. Oh, I think she's probably just going to do it now. And I also don't know if I'll get to choose her trait or if the game will actually do it for her. I may change it depending on what she ends up with because I have very set ideas, I think, for what the personalities of all these kids are going to be. Maya, you blew the candles out on the wrong cake. Yeah, I didn't get to pick a trait. That cake was meant to be Giovanna's, so I guess Giovanna can blow out the candles on this one. Addison can blow out the candles on the princess cake, because the kids were asked what kind of cake they want, and I guess Maya asked for a zombie cake. I don't know. So let's have a quick look at them. Obviously, I have to give them all makeovers. Did her hair colour change? Didn't she have black hair? She had black hair. She did. Like Chantel. Whoa, where'd Addison go? I don't think she's evil. I do think she's scheming. I don't know if that's like ambitious. I feel like ambitious might be the trait for her. I don't think she's like fully taken on the Carissa kind of... Can she be ambitious as a teen? Apparently not. I guess it's a career thing. Like they get moodlets if they're not doing well in their careers. So I suppose that makes sense. Maybe self-absorbed? I do give that to this family a lot, don't I? I don't think she's mean. I think self-absorbed is more like it. Given that she was pranking the bears, I might put her on Chief of Mischief for now. All about pranks and mayhem, because she was very focused on that as a child, and I feel like that's appropriate for her. Obviously, there's some CC going on here. Looks like she's got some kind of illness. And also laugh lines. Oh, honey. She's got the bones of a pretty sim. Still got the kind of jawline problems of all of the descendants of Makayla. Alright. This is Maya. She is just as pretty as I thought she would be. I have to give all three of them makeovers, and I don't know how much I can give these two makeovers in the same house. She did have black hair though, so I will definitely be switching her back to that. She's also super cute. They're all very cute, but they've all loaded with this I laugh line thing, which is very strange. I'm going to give them all quick makeovers, and if I can, I'll also correct the traits on the other two girls, and then I'll touch back with you guys. All right, you guys, here's the first of our beautiful girls. This is Giovanna, and she is a stunner. Chanel's genetics have softened all of the kind of very distinctive Alex and Makayla and Ashley features, the kind of really high cheekbones and stuff. She's so beautiful. I don't know that I've ever seen a more beautiful sim. And I've given her this awesome CC hair, which I've had for ages, but have never had cause to use. I think it came with the Stella pack, the Plum Bob Tea Society Stella pack. So they have oil slick versions of all of the normal hairs. So it's like a CC swatch. They just add on. Well, not all, but a lot. So that is little Giovanna. I'll just quickly go through her outfits for you. I've kept her kind of more edgy, like she's grown up in a bit of a rougher environment. I can't imagine Hugh or Nadia ever bothered to moderate their language or their behavior around her at all. And, you know, I think I'm not casting disrespect on her background. I'm just saying she's our kind of more earthy child. Now, she had mean already. I gave her self-assured. She originally had snob, but that didn't go. She aged up with Mansion Baron, and I was like, sure. I feel like she's seen the way Addison lives in a big, beautiful house, and she's like, well, that's my dad. Why can't I live in a big, beautiful house? And I don't think she blames Addison, but I think she's aspirationally wanting the same thing for herself. I'd like to introduce to you the fabulous Maya Gannon. She's aged up with the spellcaster aspiration. So I do have to pick her aspiration for her because she does not want to be a spellcaster. Again, very beautiful sim. I think she got cursed a little bit more with the narrow jawline of the, I'm going to say the Blair household. That was Makayla's original surname and it came from her. It's the Blair jawline. I still think she's breathtaking. Like really pretty. The hairs that she's got are both A. Harris O. Brittany hairs because I recently downloaded a ton of them and I love them and she's gorgeous. So she's our little ball of sunshine. She was already outgoing. Now she's active because she aged up with that. And I was like, well, she obviously got that part from her dad. But she's still our little ray of sunshine. She's still really pure and nice. And like, I almost want to change this out for good. But I figured we'll see how she survives teenage years before we do that. So this is her everyday. We have formal. I've stuck with the yellow on account of the whole sunshine thing because she's just so pure. I love her. This is her party wear. It's a little bit risque, but it's also like super baggy dungaree kind of overall look. And I feel like if she wears this to a party, it's because Addison talked her into it, honestly. Oh, I forgot to do her swimwear. I just completely forgot. I'll do that in a sec. This is her hot weather gear. We've gone for like a nice honey pastel look. And this is her winter wear. Now, this won't take long because I just need to pick some swimwear I think she'd be comfortable with and then take off all the other stuff. I did keep her curly hair because she had curly hair as a child and it made sense to me that it would not have gone away. Now for her aspiration, actually, you know, I might actually take her off active. Just thinking about it, maybe she should be cheerful. I feel like it's not that she's not active, it's just that that's not a driving facet of her personality. And I feel like she would be maybe friend of the world. So she wants to make and keep as many friends as she can. I feel like she would be interested in that. Last but not least, we have little Addison, who, again, really, really pretty sim once I took all of the malfunctioning CC and stuff off. I haven't changed her face shape at all. She was actually the hardest to give a makeover to. I wouldn't describe her dress style as risque, but she is aware from observation primarily, talking to her aunt. She's aware of the fine family tradition of getting men and boys to do what you want by using the things that God has given you to your advantage. But she lives with an overprotective father in a way that Giovanna and Maya just don't have Alex on top of them watching what they're wearing all the time. So they can get away with a bit more, which is probably frustrating for Addison because neither of them particularly want to get away with more. So this is her everyday wear. for when her dad's around, and then there's just a little bit more of a risque version for when she's out and about and daddy's not around. It's just the low cut jeans, slightly higher cut shirt. Do you know what I mean? I mean, she's like 14. I'm not having her dress in a completely scandalous way, but she's certainly adjusting her outfit accordingly. This is her formal wear. She's like a little princess, which I'm sure was intentional. This is her workout wear, nothing special, just, you know, for business. This is her sleepwear. This is very much the I'm daddy's little girl vibe, I imagine. This is her party wear for family functions. This is her party wear for when she's out with her friends. Then we have sleepwear or swimwear. That's her hot weather gear. I know it does show a bit of belly, but I also figured these are fairly high cut shorts, so she can get away with it because she's not showing too much. And we have some very boring winter wear. So there you go. That is the third of the wonderful trio all made over, and I don't want to tell you how long I've been sitting here doing this. Honestly, I don't think I could. It's been at least an hour. It's been a long time. So here are beautiful girls in game. Obviously, I need to give Addison's room a little bit of a makeover, but probably not too much actually, because I feel like she would want to maintain that image for her father. I think she would realize it's easier to manipulate him into letting her do what she wants if he thinks of her as a little girl rather than a flowering young woman who could get herself in strife of the Carissa just had a baby variety. There you go. I think they're all wonderful and I love them, and I can't wait to see what kind of mischief they get into, honestly. I feel like I could definitely follow these three Sims in a future series. Obviously, I have a lot to do in Criminal Empire, but from a challenge point of view, I actually just need Zane to graduate from university and Addison to graduate from university, and we've won. But part of me is like, well, maybe I wait for Zane to graduate university and then I could move Addison into a new house with her sisters and then they could do that experience together. That is definitely one option. Obviously, we've got a big story arc to complete with Jason and Cassidy and the Bears. And there's a few other things I need to tie up. And obviously I need Zane to finish school. And he's only halfway through his first term. I think he's got 2 more days of classes before the end of term. It says 2 days left. He's still got, what, another 3 semesters, I think, that he has to do. So we won't be wrapping up imminently. And hopefully that'll give us enough time to have the story with the Bears and Cassidy and everything sort of resolve itself. Obviously, there's the situation with Carissa as well. Addison, you've never cooked anything in your life, honey. What are you doing? Anyway, I guess I'll end this part here. I know we didn't spend a huge amount of time in this family, but we had a few different things we needed to resolve. So, yeah, I'd love to hear your name suggestions for the baby. Specifically Carissa's baby. There are no other babies that I'm aware of. I mean, I haven't heard that Lottie was pregnant or anything. I know he did have a woohoo with her. I haven't heard that she was pregnant. I think she's ghosted him a little bit. I'm going to leave this part here, you guys. If you have enjoyed, please like and subscribe. You know the drill. Don't forget to wash your hands, and I will catch you next time. Thanks for watching.